to my way of thinking, we're going to switch subjects a bit from all of this politics that's going on and electioneering that's taking place, and talk a bit about some things that we all need to be concerned about. And that's our financial future and where we're putting our money and what might be a better place to do that, especially for those who are still in their working years, those who are getting ready to come out of the working years, going into retirement, and for those folks who just want to look at something different that's not all that terribly different to put your money. With us today is Daryl Seabridge. Daryl is a leadership developer and a financial professional who deals with financing and could answer some of our questions about where should we put our money? What should we do with it? Thanks for joining us, Daryl.
Hey, thanks, Fred. It's great to be here. I really appreciate it, and I love your podcast.
All right, thank you. Well, let's get right to it. What's the big deal about, I got a 401k. I'm happy enough with that. I've got, my retirement money that I'm looking at after working 30 years on the job. And, I'm looking forward to taking advantage of my Social Security when the time comes. All my money seems to be safe with that. What more can you add to what I'm already doing?
Well, Fred, let's start with the 401k, since that's what you kind of leaned on. A lot of people have this sense of security with the 401k, and it's not a bad program. You can make a little bit of money in there. The problem is you have to pay Uncle Sam from that money when you finish saving it. And on average, most Americans only save about $125,000 in their 401k. And you can verify this on Google. So I'm not bringing up any magic numbers here. So if you can only save $125,000, most people would probably agree that that's not enough to retire on. And then you mentioned Social Security with that. And if you couple Social Security with a 401k, you're still not going to reach your goals. Because would you agree that you have visions for your retirement, don't you? You have a certain lifestyle that you'd like to live in your retirement.
Yes.
The question becomes, are those strategies going to get you to that lifestyle in your retirement? And the answer, most of the time, is no.
Well, one of the hardest things for folks to look at and deal with is exactly what that number is going to be. I mean, if I'm only planning on living till I get 80 years old, right now I need $80 to $100,000 to keep the house up, keep the kids going, for me and the madam or the mister to live a kind of decent lifestyle and take a few trips. And I don't worry about what's going to happen to me after I get 80 years old, but that should be a concern, if I'm hearing you correctly.
Yes, because people are living to be in their hundreds now. Times have changed a lot since the 40s and 50s, and those people that have lived only till they're 80 years old. Medical strides have taken us into longer longevity. Longevity of a human being now is well into the hundreds. And that's not unusual. So if you think about that, what kind of burden is that going to be on your family? When your money's run out, your 401k is gone, your Social Security is barely a drip in the bucket of your financial well-being. Now you're struggling to find out where you're going to live. Who's going to pay for that home that you might have to go into? Or if you're living with your family, what kind of benefit is that going to be for them? Most people don't want to be a burden on their family. So what if you could set up a strategy now that brings you into that future where you actually provide a legacy for your family instead of, I should say, becoming a burden for them? And there's a way you can do that.
I've got an insurance policy. I've got a life insurance policy, which I've been invested in aside from that for some time. And that's going to be there, depending upon how much they decide to use of it for burying me or cremating me. He'll have a decent amount of money left over. That I'm looking at the insurance policy I have in addition to my investment.
And that's fantastic. And you're actually ahead of a lot of people I actually talk to. Now, you may have an insurance policy and think that that's going to be enough of a legacy for your family, but have you considered what debt you might be leaving behind that's going to be absorbed by that legacy that you've left in that insurance policy? How much is that burial going to be? Because 9 times out of 10, it's more expensive than we all imagine. And if you don't have it all set up beforehand, we can help you with that too. We can help you with setting up a final arrangement for yourself where you decide all those things before you pass away. So the other question about that insurance policy that you have is, what kind of insurance policy is it? Are you aware of what kind of insurance policy it is? Term, whole life?
Well, most folks I've talked to have gone the whole life, which is what I'm looking at. But, because term is I think everybody understands that's exactly what the word says. It's for a period of time that you're insured, then you got to do it all over again, and possibly the rates will go up. So, but whole life seems to be, one that I can just keep paying on until it's over.
Right. Well, I've talked to different kinds of people. So some people get term policies, and you are aware of what a term policy actually is.
Yeah.
Some folks don't realize that those terms expire, and then at the end of that term, when that expires, they get no other benefit from that term policy. So if you had a 20-year term policy that you paid $23 on for the whole 20 years, at the end of that 20 years, if you haven't passed away, you get zero from that account. You get nothing. You have to pass away for that account, for that term policy, to be worth anything for your family. So you're betting against yourself and your longevity. So, there's nothing wrong with term, because that does fit for some people who are financially struggling, right? But a whole life policy gives you an additional benefit because you can build cash value in a whole life policy. Now, the whole life policy that you're building cash value in only gets a small percentage of growth. It's not very big. It's almost like putting your money in the bank.
All right. So what kind of plan would you suggest for folks? And let's look at the age process of this. Most of us don't even begin to seriously think about, these kinds of things until we get in our mid 40s, late 40s, and it becomes evident that we can't do the work we did when we were in our 20s. So we then begin to these ideas begin to pop in as to what we want to do. We've settled into our chosen profession and doing what we want to do. So we're earning the money, but from 40, 50, and 60, we begin to think about the investments that we have and what they will do. What kind of thought process do you have for what would be a good idea for us to take a look at and delve into?
Well, first of all, in the strategy that I'm proposing, and what's best for your people out there listening and our clients, is there is no too early to start. And the reason being is, if you wait until you're in your 40s or 50s, chances are you have some health issues already, and it's going to preclude you from getting any kind of better coverages. Not only that, but if you're waiting until those times, how long do you have to start saving in those accounts, right? So if you can start earlier, and if I was 18 again and I was in the military, I retired from the military, but if I was in the military again and I knew about this other strategy, this indexed strategy, I would have saved in that, because by now I would have a nice big nest egg saved up. When people are talking about age and you get into your older years, because you start realizing your mortality at those times, right? That's why you start thinking about that coverage. You realize the end is not too far off. But imagine if you didn't wait that long, because you don't have the time and the earning potential in your later years to make up for any shortfalls in income you're going to have when you retire. So when you're younger, you can make up for those shortfalls by starting to save just a little bit. You don't have to save too much into your account. Just save enough to keep building it. And am I talking about a savings account? No, I'm talking about saving your money in an indexed universal life insurance account. You're killing so many birds with one stone that way. One, you're building cash value in an account that's going to earn on average 6 to 12% interest. It's going to grow over time with you, but you're also going to get a death benefit with that, which is also going to grow with you. So as your assets grow and you become older and you acquire more things that need to be covered and more family members that will need to be covered, you will have more money to cover that family members. And
Say that again. What we're talking about, an index, what? Say that again.
Indexed universal life account.
That's new business, it sounds like to me.
It is. Most people haven't even heard of it. And there's many reasons why you haven't heard of it. We'll go into that another time. But an index universal life account allows you to grow cash value, much like a whole life policy, but at a larger interest rate. So between 6 and 12% on average, last year was around 10.22% that it grew. Now you compare that to your savings account in the bank, you're getting 0.01 to 0.04%. Which one are you going to pick?
Easy. That's an easy option
No,
there. What the higher percentage?
yeah. So not only are you getting that savings within this account, that money's protected. And here's the rub. It's protected even more than in your bank account.
How so?
Because once you break $250,000 in your bank account, you're no longer covered. Because the Federal Deposit Insurance Commission only covers up to $250,000.
Well,
right?
Well, I think that's well known enough, for money that we have in the bank. But that's one of the reasons why we put things in the bank, because at least we got $250,000 covered. Most of us don't have that kind of money in there anyway.
That's true. Most Americans don't. They're living paycheck to paycheck. But the money that you even do have in there, say you have $10,000, and to some people that's a large amount of money.
Yeah.
Right. So if you have $10,000 in the bank, most people imagine that it's stuck in a vault in there somewhere. But the reality is that the bank is taking that money and they're loaning it out to someone else. Your money never actually sits in a bank. It's a bunch of zeros on a piece of paper, or in a computer bank, more accurately. So they loan that money back out for the tune of 16 to 24% to other people. So they're offering you 0.01 to 0.04% for you putting your money in there. Well, they loan it out for 16 to 24%. But here is the trick that the banks are doing. They take that money that they make on the 16, 24% loans, and they put it into an index universal life account where they're then going to make another 6 to 12%. So on every average American that's putting money in a bank or a credit union, that institution is potentially making 40% on your money while they offer you 0.04%.
Whoa. Well, that's another reason for always checking your accounts and actually seeing that. I mean, CDs and that sort of thing have just been earning nothing if you don't watch it. I mean, I've managed a couple of CD accounts for organizations, and from month to month, they may get 3 to 5 cents on the dollar from month to month, until we finally got really looked at it and changed over to another bank, or just another bank, or even to another account to get some money out of it. What is would I have to give up what I'm currently doing to get into this index fund, or are you talking about in addition to what I'm already doing?
That's a great question. So what I normally suggest for people is, first of all, we sit down and we do a complimentary personal financial review. And I'll challenge you to find any other licensed professional that's dealing with finance to do it for you complimentary. But we do it complimentary. Reason why is we get paid directly from the companies. We don't ever touch a dime of our clients' money. So you take that money that you get in your savings right now, whatever you're savings right now, and then you take the 401k money that you're donating to the company for their tax break, and you only drop it down to what the match is going to be. You still take that free money from the company, you drop it down to whatever their match is guaranteeing, and you take whatever else you're giving to that fund and you put that with your savings. And then you're simply taking that money from here and putting it over here into an index universal life account, and you're not taking any more money out of your pocket. We also help people, though, when we do the personal financial review. Most people don't realize how many subscriptions they have to multiple different venues like Hulu, Netflix, whatever. If they can do without one or two of those, you add that to that as well, and it just increases your amount that you can earn interest on inside that account.
What is there a time frame that I should have started with this to get in on the floor? Again, a lot of the emphasis these days when we look at financial planning and what you want to do is, you need to be doing this sort of thing early. But the honest truth is most people don't even think about it seriously until they get to 40, 50 years old. And hopefully they've been with the company long enough to get a retirement in place, and like I said, we said before, the 401k, which is what everybody knows about. And in the old days, we had savings bonds, but we don't have that anymore. They call them treasury. I think they call them treasury notes now. But is there a point where it's too late to get into this kind of thing, or or what? When should I know you'd say now, but is there a point of no return to get into this kind of thing?
Yeah, it's about 80 years old.
Oh, really?
Because you want to have at least about 10 years to let your money grow in there. This is a long-term commitment, because think about it. It just makes sense. Do you make a lot of interest on a little bit of money, or do you make a lot of interest on a large amount of money?
All right. So for the many of us, it is time to do it, because by the time I get 75 or 80 years old, for many of my folks of my senior high school class, we're already at the point where we don't like change, but at least we got some time. So
and the thing is, if you don't have another option, so if you're looking at staring down the barrel of $125,000 from your 401k, and you have just that little bit of Social Security coming in with that, and you're panicking because you're looking at your bills and you're saying, I'm barely going to be able to cover my bills with this. Well, you deserve to be able to go on the trip of your lifetime every year. You deserve to go be able to see your grandkids and your children that are spread out across different states. You deserve to go drink a Mai Tai on a beach somewhere, right? Because you've earned that if you're working for 40 years. So if you can take 10 years and build up this account while you're still working, because a lot of people aren't retiring at 65, are they, Fred?
Nope, they aren't. Nope,
They have to work till they're 71. That's why you see dirt readers that are well beyond retirement age. It's not too late. If you have the earning capacity now, save that money that you can and start putting it away. 10 years, it'll start compounding interest.
So again, tell me what we're talking about. And of course, tell us how we can learn more.
All right, we're talking about the Indexed Universal Life Account. And there's also fixed indexed annuities for those that may be in bad health. If you have money in that 401k and it's built up a little bit, we roll that over into the fixed indexed annuity, where it can be protected from the market, no losses. Oh, by the way, the IUL doesn't experience losses in the market like the 401k does. So we're talking about the Indexed Universal Life Account today. And how you can get more information is you can reach out to me by email at DABRIDGE43s@gmail.com or 904-335-1337.
All right. Sounds like a plan. And tell us briefly, in the moments we have left, about yourself. Daryl, we've known each other for a while. Both of us are Air Force veterans. But tell us a bit about yourself. And again, I got your contact information is up on the screen.
Oh, thank you so much, Fred. Daryl Seabridge. I was born in Pennsylvania, went into the military right after high school, spent 23 years in security forces and retired from there. Got out and had to find another profession, which I didn't want to be a police officer exactly. So I got into a little bit of bail bond work. And then finally, I found my passion, which is helping people to improve their financial situation. And now I help with personal development by helping people change their mindset about not only money, but about themselves. And a lot of people need that. Mental health is huge. So I help people with that. And then I help them to get a financial future that looks a little bit brighter.
Excellent. Daryl Seabridge, leadership developer, financial professional, works with the World Financial Group, a Trans-America company. We're going to talk more about this index whole life fund that he's had, but we wanted to get started today. Daryl, thank you for your time.
Fred, thank you. It's been an honor to be on your show.